Alright, back working on the Mustang today. It's a beautiful October day here in Connecticut. It's probably in 72, 73 degrees and no humidity. So I'm going to take advantage of that and get out here and work on this door outside. I'm still sanding the body filler on this thing. I put a second coat on from the last time when you saw it. And now I got some 80 grit on the sander. And we're just going to sand it down and see if we need to put any more filler on, or if we can go from this 80 up to like a 180 or a 240 and then move on to the glaze. So let's see how much of the low spots that I had from the first sanding are filled and whether or not I have to add another coat. So we'll get started. So here's the result. I've been working this for a few minutes now, and in this big spot up here, basically I've got the edge nice and smooth. Let me just grab this little rag. But right here, sort of along this, it's like a diagonal line, you can see a darker color, and then a little bit above it right there is another darker area. Those are low spots that I really haven't touched with the sanding. I don't think this line is one. I think that's just the color between the old filler and the new filler. But here I can feel this line with my finger. Up here it's a little rough in the middle. Everything else is really smooth around the edge. You can't tell right here when you go from metal to filler. There's a little slight bit of a lip right on that top edge. I think I can just work that out with a little more sanding. But then down here along the bottom, you can tell that this is a low spot right here because it hasn't been sanded much. There's another little low area right there. And then this is a hard line where I stopped putting on some filler after the second time, and there's a ridge right here. My fingernail even gets stuck on it. But the board is too long. I can't sand that down. It's another little ridge right here. So I think I just want to put some filler all the way across these and then sand it all down one time. Coming back this way, this all feels good, but then all along here, you can probably even see it, that's a hard edge, and I can't get rid of it just by sanding with the long board. This is nice and smooth, but then right here again it's hard. So I'm going to I don't want to put any more filler on. Actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take some of this material off, and then we'll fill it and try and sand it again one more time. This sandpaper is pretty dull, but before I take it off, I'm going to just make a couple of quick passes over this area of the door that just has this black E-coat on it. I can use it as a guide coat to see if there are any highs and lows. I have a feeling that there's a low spot right here. It just looks a little strange in the light when you get the glare on it. So I'm just going to make a couple of quick passes here and see if anything starts to show up. Let me take the camera down and give you a close-up look. Here it is close up. I have some pretty even scratches all throughout this area. You can tell there's a little bit of a high spot right here, but I don't think it's that horrible. Out here at the edge of the door there's a big high spot, but this little area right here that I thought was a low turned out to be, it looks like there's a low spot. I might put just a little coat of filler right in there and try and sand that out. Couldn't really get into this area right where this body line is because the flat sanding board won't climb up that hill. I have a round wooden dowel that I can use to get in there. But otherwise the panel looks pretty good, so I don't think I need to do much with it. I do want to put a little bit right in this spot right here, just to bring that up. Okay, I spun the door around. The other thing that I've noticed on this door, at the top of the door there's this sort of curved reveal detail, and if you get down close to it and get it in the light just right, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but it looks like there's a whole series of waves that run down that thing the long way, and I think now is the time to address that and not wait till I got it all nice and painted and then you look at it and you see all these ripples in it. I think this is just from the fabrication process when they make this door panel. It's not, they have to fold that edge over and it just winds up with these little waves in the sheet metal. So I'm going to try and address that. And also right here on the end, there's kind of like a bump, like a little high spot. I think I can just tap on that a little bit and make that look a little nicer. But right in here. So here's another one of my fancy sanding tools. It's just an 1.5 inch diameter wooden round bar. They sell it for coat hanger rods, that you put in your closet to hang your shirts and other hangers on. So I used it in another project for something else and had this left over. So I just take it, wrap a piece of this sandpaper around it, and then you can use it to get into curved areas. Now you don't want to run it this way because that'll create a groove. If you imagine if you just sand parallel to the direction of the rod, you'll just cut a valley right into whatever it is you're sanding. So really what you want to do is you want to go across the surface. And you want to go across and you want to always change the direction that you're going so that you don't, again, start cutting grooves only going in one direction. But having it wrapped around this dowel like this lets me get into these curved areas. And then I can get in there, I can look and see if there are any highs and low spots where I couldn't get in with the flat sanding board before. I'm also going to use it on this body line here when I put the filler in there. Again, I'm not going to run it up and down like this, because all that's going to do is cut a groove in it. So you got to kind of wiggle it up and down. Well, maybe I could run it up and down if it's the right diameter. Now, that's the thing. You get the right diameter one, then you could just run it up and down here because this is a scalloped out groove. Let me show you this round bar in action. It's got a little piece of paper here. Wrap it around it. Just kind of pinch it on there. And just go sand like you normally would. I'm trying to go back and forth diagonally in both directions, because if you just park in one spot for too long, you're going to create a little low spot, and you don't want to do that. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to feather out this edge where I put on the second coat of filler. I think I pretty much have it now. Might be a little bit of an edge right there. This corner's a little low, but I'm not going to get that with sanding. I'm going to have to either hammer this up a little bit or put some more filler on. I think I'll try and hammer it up first. The other thing that I did on the top edge, I just put this paper on here and I ran it down this way because pretty much this dowel fits in this groove, especially when you put the paper on it. The other thing I figured I could do is I could wrap some newspaper around this thing, make it a little bit fatter if I need to, and get down at the end. And that really has allowed me to see all of the little waves in the top of this door. This whole thing should be silver. I should have wiped all of the E-coat off, but I didn't. And I did that so I can see where the low spots are. So I'm going to put a little bit of filler in there, and then we'll just come back and sand it pretty much, all off, and just hopefully fill in those high spots and not create a lot more work for myself. Alright, so I'm just taking a little break. Got a Snapple here. I can do this crazy little trick. One-handed open the bottle. Of course, it's all sweaty now. There you go. Peach flavored. So, try it. Thumb and your first finger. Just twist it off. It's fun.